Welcome to the Creative Coast's video podcasts featuring Savannah's top thinkers, business people, innovators, and creators. With host B. Ray, director of the Creative Coast. What follows are interviews running on the Creative Coast website this month. You can check out the podcasts day or night at blog.thecreativecoast.org.
Actually on the advisory board here at the Creative Coast.
Hello and welcome to the Front Porch. My name is B. Ray. I'm with the Creative Coast, and today we're chatting it up with Rob Lingle and Steve Ross of Oakworks. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great to have you. So Oakworks, full stack development. What does that mean?
Okay, full stack development is maybe too technical of a term, but it means we do everything. So we help people figure out how their website should work, how it looks, and then on the back end, how the data is stored. And then as you grow, how do you not collapse? You know, now that you're picking up thousands of customers online, how do you not fall down? And how do you not embarrass yourself? We try to help you manage that part too.
Great. So when you say people, you mean companies?
I mean companies.
You mean companies, and they could be little bitty companies or really huge companies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that, we try to, our one-liner is that we bring turn-by-turn directions to software development. That whether it's your website or some back-end tool that you need, or that you're just not getting out of some off-the-shelf system, that we can give you a strategy for how to do that better, and we can actually build it for you as well.
Great. And Steve, when did you know that software development was for you?
So I sort of fell into software development. I have an animation degree, so that doesn't really jive well with software development, but life sort of leads you down a path, and my path ended me up here. And so I started early on at the Savannah Morning News and helped develop Savannah Now with back during the Olympics and when I was still in high school, and there was no animation on the East Coast really, and it was all West Coast based. And so that started me down the path toward, learning everything about the internet, and then going to do interactive media type stuff way back when. And then, just a natural progression to doing more and more interactive stuff on the web means that you're going to have to know some programming. So I sort of cut my teeth at St. Jude in Memphis, kind of transitioning from doing interactive work to doing mostly programming, and then worked my way back to the East Coast and back home to Savannah to eventually end up here and running a business out of my house. And then Rob and I met again after many years of kind of drifting apart, and he was looking to do something new, and we just decided one day that hey, Savannah, let's make this happen. Savannah, I'm sure, has lots of people that have software issues, and we'd like to help. And we love Savannah, and we'd love to stay here and help the city. We've talked to folks at the city and help anyone that comes along with being able to solve problems with software and making software work for them instead of against them. So.
And you all do sort of just software or internet solutions or mobile apps, or all of that?
Kind of all of that. We kind of start with a strategy piece, helping you understand, what you've got now, where you want to go, and then what it's going to take to get to there.
Right.
And then we do the development. And we tend to focus on web applications.
Okay.
And so that plays into mobile some, but it's, mostly web applications.
And Rob, what about you? You knew you were a software developer when?
So I did computer engineering at Georgia Tech, and it was fun, but it's a lot of hardware. It's a lot of it's not the immediate gratification. Like I can do delayed gratification, but I like to make a tweak and see the change that you see in software. So I went through the computer engineering program and then decided I'd rather play with computers than build them. And so I spent the last dozen years working for a Department of Defense contractor, and that's actually a great place to learn how to simplify a process, because they have a lot of processes that are just sort of old, and they're bureaucratic, and they're kind of holdovers from times past. But it's a cool place to go into and say, wouldn't it be great if there's an app for that, and then help them scope that out and build it.
Wow. So both of you really paint the picture that you can learn so much on the job, maybe even on top of or aside from degrees that you had picked up along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, that's, I guess, kind of the beauty of what we do is that it moves so quickly that, we've talked to folks at Armstrong, and we've had, we're involved with a Rails bridge here, and a lot of these newer languages that are built for the web are so young, and you can do so much in them. They change so frequently that you have a hard time going to school for that particular thing. You can go to school to learn how to program in like a general sense, but you're going to learn in an older technology. You're going to learn. You
need to be good at picking up patterns and hold on to those underlying patterns, but then always reach out and find something new, find a better way to do things, make things a little bit easier. I don't know, it's kind of a life thing, I think, for me, and I think for Steve too. But keep finding things that improve your life, make things simpler, and then share that.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
And so we like to stay really as agile as possible with our clients, so that we can do iterative development. That we don't have to, develop a plan that's going to take 6 months to a year to implement, because, it's just that hard with the technology.
Right.
So we like to bite off small pieces of a project and really show our customers, value quickly, and sort of this immediate solving of a problem and adding value to their business.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for the chance to work with you through the Biz Lab. It's Rob Lingle, Steve Ross, Oakworks. We're really happy to have you.
Thanks.
Hello and welcome to the Front Porch. My name is Bea Ray, and today we're chatting it up with Dennis Page of Twitch Technologies. Hey Dennis, how are you?
Bea, I'm doing fine. How are you today?
Super, thanks. So happy to have you.
Thank you.
What's going on with Twitch these days?
Well, we're busy working at it. I got some new ideas for Twitch, and some things will make it easier for the public to grasp, I believe.
Well, let's start with that. What is Twitch Technologies?
Twitch is a new type of keyboarding device that does everything a traditional QWERTY keyboard would do, but with just 10 keys. It allows you to type on even the smallest devices, such as smartphones and tablet computers and so forth. It's pretty cool.
Great. And so how would it work? Tell me. So it doesn't look like a keyboard. It's not flat. What's happening here?
Well, what happens, and it's funny how this came about. I have lots of inventions where I try to solve a problem. And the way this worked, one day I just pictured in my mind a 5x5 matrix with the first 25 letters of the alphabet in it. Then I visualized the left hand on one side of the matrix and the right hand on the other, and all of a sudden I realized that I could select any letter in the matrix by one left hand finger and one right hand finger, and you can type very easily. It's very easy to memorize.
Wonderful. So how long does it take the average person to learn?
Well, we did some tests at Georgia Tech, and after 8.5 hours, we had some students typing up to 35 words per minute. We believe there's no limit. We believe a person could easily do 100 words per minute with the right amount of practice.
Wow. So after 8 hours, 35 words per minute.
Yeah, 8.5 hours, yes.
And that was the first exposure they had to.
Yes, that's correct.
And so in other words, like my right thumb might mean A, B, C, D, and E, theoretically?
That's correct.
Okay. So
Sure.
neat.
You got it.
The old-fashioned texting kind of.
See, you're already up to 20 words per minute.
I'm almost there. Who needs my typing school? So, and this is something you've invented 3-4, how long ago?
Boy, I came up with the idea 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
I built a working prototype, and it worked great. Unfortunately, back then, the smallest computer had a big CRT attached to it. And then one day, late 2009, I got a call from my son-in-law who worked in the touchscreen division of 3M.
Great.
Says, Mr. Page, this invention you showed me, it's time to dust it off. There's something coming out called a tablet computer. It's going to revolutionize the way we do everything. And your keyboard is perfect because you could just hold the tablet in your hand and type away. So in early 2010, I filed for comprehensive patents for this, which were awarded just a few months ago. Pretty exciting.
Wow. Good for you. And so you're the founder, and
Yes.
you are looking at big things. You have some, you're right here in Savannah.
Yes.
And tell me about that decision and how that came about. You're from here, you've been here for a while.
Well, the way I got to Savannah, I owned a music store. It was in Savannah a lot of years, and I sold that in '96. I love the area, and I love the possibility of technical development here. And so it's just a great community interface with people. For instance, I just met a guy in the hall a few minutes ago, a software guy I've known for several years, but I haven't connected with him in a number of years either. So there's
It all happens at the foundry.
There's an asset for me.
There you go. I appreciate that. And you have a few patents. Talk to me about your patents.
I actually have 4 patents now, 3 for automatic disconnection of valuable gear when a lightning storm comes, including things associated with generators and so forth. And then, again, I got this patent that was just recently awarded. I also have 2 patents.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Have 2 patents pending. One is for RFID finger recognition technology, so we'll be able to use Twitch just by moving your fingers in the air and typing, texting, so forth. And I also filed recently for a new type of jumper cable that only works when you squeeze the handle, so no more sparking, arcing, and general panic when you touch the 2 ends together.
So just in case someone doesn't know, you've used a couple terms, QWERTY and RFID. Why don't you tell us the definition of these terms?
Yeah, QWERTY stands for the first 5 letters on the upper portion of a standard computer keyboard or standard typewriter, if you would, and that's where the name came from. And unfortunately, people have been using that for over 100 years, and it's pretty ingrained, and it's a culture hard to overcome. So we're working on that right now. And RFID simply stands for radio frequency identification. And what we're doing that's different, we're placing what's called a tag that allows a card reader, or a reader to read the tags. We place that on a belt, so as you move your finger, the information is transferred to your belt-worn reader, which then goes to your Bluetooth device and can be used any way you want to.
Wonderful. Well, I understand what you mean about the QWERTY keyboard and how that's been around, but I have 3 children in my house, and none of them think to put their hand up and start typing away. But if you ask them to slide up or slide over or text, they've got very active thumbs. I think you're right in the world where people are learning to just type in a new way. Sounds like that's good for Twitch, huh?
Yes. MIT Technology Review Magazine, Anne Trubeck wrote an article. It was just fabulous a few years ago where she decried the loss of what's called cognitive automaticity, the ability to just do things without thinking. Now, traditional touch typing allows that, so you can type even as you're thinking. Well, we've lost that with touchscreen devices where you have to look at what you're doing. Well, Twitch allows you to touch type, holding any device you want to. You regain that cognitive automaticity, and that's important.
Great. So you're not doing the kind of sliding where you're engaging the eyes as well as the fingers.
That's correct.
That is really incredible.
Your mind is doing the typing.
And what's the terminology for that again?
Cognitive automaticity.
Yes.
Walking, eating, those type of things are cognitive automaticity. You just
Do I have to rub my stomach and pat my head at the same time?
That takes a little practice.
That takes some practice. Wow. Well, Dennis Page, Twitch Technologies, it's wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for being a part of what makes Savannah so awesome.
Thank you very much. Good being here.
Thank you. Hello and welcome to the Front Porch. My name is Bea Ray. I'm with the Creative Coast, and today we're chatting it up with Yvonne Jouffrault of TourBuddy Apps. Welcome, Yvonne.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. So tell us about TourBuddy.
TourBuddy has been around for over 5 years, and we have a web-based platform where our clients who are visitor destinations in cities all over the world can create their own iOS and Android destination apps.
Right. And you've been, in various countries as well as cities throughout the United States. Someone is carrying around their phone and you're helping them tour through a museum or a festival.
Yeah, well, the way that our product works, our clients who are the visitor destinations of the cities, they go onto our website and they build the app, they put in all the content, the audio, the points of interest, the events, and then we release it to the iOS or Android app stores for them, and then their visitors are the users that download the app. So we have thousands and thousands of people all over the world who are downloading apps that were created on our platform and released to the App Store by TourBuddy Apps.
So you've created the tool, but the actual museum or city is filling the content and creating the app for the visitor.
Correct.
Wonderful. So you're enabling them to create a better experience.
Yes.
And when this came up, because you were sitting at home one day saying, I don't have enough to do, what happened?
Well, when we first moved to Savannah, which is a visitor destination, we just for fun, we created an audio walking tour of Savannah that we wanted to sell through these little MP3 players. It wasn't a great idea because we couldn't achieve enough scale to really make money on it. But that was right around the time that apps were starting to be possible and be popular. So we turned it into an app and realized that this was a hit. People wanted to be able to download this app onto their phone. So then the next step from that was, well, let's create a platform or a tool that makes it easy and affordable for visitor destinations all over the world to be able to have this same app to offer to their visitors.
Great. And this is, when you say we, you're talking about yourself and your husband were the initial business partners?
Initially, it was myself and my husband, but I now have a co-founder who's an iOS developer in Charleston, and I met him 5 years ago at Geekend, actually.
Oh, wonderful. So at one point, right now the product is both in iOS and in Android, but at one point you had to make that decision, which first and when to bring on the next one. What was that like?
We make that decision every day, actually.
Okay.
Every time we release an app. And we're constantly redesigning. We're constantly adding features. When you have a mobile app product, you always have to be thinking about what's coming next and integrating the new features that the operating systems offer. So every day we have to decide: are we gonna upgrade our iOS app today? Are we gonna add these new features? When are we gonna add them for Android? And in general, in app development world, you always do iOS first. The reason is, number one, 80% of our app downloads come from iOS users. Even though Android users are a much larger percentage of the market, they download less apps.
Okay.
The average iOS user downloads 10 apps a month, I think, and the average Android user downloads 1 a month. And that's the average. There's many Android users that never download an app. So we always go iOS first, and frankly, our iOS app is much more robust than our Android app. We really use it to experiment and to play and to add different features and get feedback from our clients. And then once we've established what's a necessary feature, then we'll add it to the Android app.
Great.
But all of our clients get both iOS and Android released pretty much simultaneously once they've created their content. Our release process takes about 2 hours, which is really incredible.
What does that mean? Our release process takes 2 hours. From what to what?
So normally whenever you want to create an app, especially a custom app, the software has to be built, it has to be tested, the content has to be added. There's a several week process of just having to go through and tick and tie and check everything. The publishing process to the App Store can take several days sometimes of a developer working full time, just compiling it and testing it and getting it ready. But because of our platform, we've been able to automate that process. So all of that content is in our back end, in our database and on our servers. And we've created a script that builds both the iOS and Android app, which can run in less than 30 minutes. We do a test, which takes about 5 minutes, and then we can publish it to the store. So when I say 2 hours, I'm counting getting a cup of coffee or answering a phone call. But yeah, it's incredible that that's one of the reasons why we're able to offer our product for an affordable price, because we've been able to automate the time-consuming process of compiling and releasing to the app stores.
And is it possible for you to give me a sense as to what an affordable price would be if I wanted to do an app just for a brand new exhibit at Telfair, for example? What would I be looking at?
If it was a single tour app, which can include multiple categories, it would be $3,000 for iOS and Android for the initial year and the initial setup and release. And then we charge $400 a year thereafter, which includes all of the software updates. That includes all the hosting of the content. Clients can make changes anytime to their content on our website, and it'll update automatically the next time the user opens the app. So it's very attractive for that pricing.
It's incredible. So those people who sell those those earphones and those things you carry around in museums, those people don't like you. Is that right?
Well, the museum world is a small world of technology providers, and those people actually have competing products to ours, but they cost about 10 times more.
Got it.
So yes, they don't like us, but at the same time, they're doing fine.
Right. Well, you can't be loved by everybody.
Yeah.
But and what would you say to the next person who says, "Gosh, this thing irritates me. Whatever it is, I think I want to create an app for this." What would you say to that person if they said, maybe I'm going to quit my corporate job and I'm going to go start a company to create an app? What advice do you have for that person?
We actually have clients that are using our platform to do that right now.
Great.
They come to us, and because what we have would cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars in a year to build, they are using our platform to create their MVP, minimum viable product, to see if it works, and they're licensing the technology from us. And then once they launch their product, or they're trying to raise money for it. So what I would, depending on what that person wanted to do, obviously if it was something that we could help with, we would. But I would say that do it as cheaply as possible initially, whether it's using a cross-platform mobile development platform, what are they called? Cross-platform mobile development platform that allows you to build for multiple devices. Use a prototyping tool to create something that you can show investors. Don't initially invest a lot of money. Software is really expensive to build. Apps are, the average app is like $50,000 with good functionality. So first you want to launch something to get feedback and make sure that your idea is a good one, because just because you think that it is,
Right.
The app store is really crowded, and unless you have a strong marketing plan or a good distribution plan, you're going to have a hard time getting attention for it. So, and that's what we tell our clients that are licensing our technology to launch their beta product, is try to find a way to do it on the cheap first. Then if it works, you can always rebuild it later. We have to rebuild our apps almost every year.
Awesome.
We have to rewrite the code because the operating systems and all of the features that are coming out every year is changing so quickly. So don't ever think that first app that you're building is you're going to be
It's
stuck
the
with
end.
it for
You're
a
not.
while.
Got it. Well, Yvonne, it's great to see you. Thank you so much. That's wonderful advice. I love seeing what you're doing, and thanks for being a part of what makes Savannah awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.